Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Joel. I'm now an undergraduate from Imperial Valley College and currently working in the ER as an RN. And for today's video, it's going to be study tools I used in nursing school plus the NCLEX. Now this is going to be a detailed video in the sense that I'm going to go over all the things I use, all the things that didn't work for me and why, and then I'm going to finalize it with the NCLEX. Okay, so the first one was YouTube. YouTube has a lot of resources, and the best part is that it's free, and that's what we all love as nursing students, right? Free stuff. Now, the primary YouTube channel that I would go for was Simple Nursing. That was like more towards like med surg, maybe pharm, but when it came to fundamentals, I was more into registered nurse RN. Level Up was also one of those, but it wasn't as consistent as Simple Nursing, Registered Nurse RN, and those were pretty much like the main ones I would focus on. If those didn't really work for me for some reason, I then used practice questions. The practice questions that I use, Simple Nursing has practice questions towards like the end of the video, so it's like a small quiz. Registered Nurse RN also has questions that you can do there, and they're all free. So that can give you a little bit of a taste if you at least understood the video that they showed. And if for some reason you wanted to do more questions, which was me pretty much, you have also Nurse Labs that has like some questions, but they were like more towards like med surg, I guess. Quizlet has good practice questions, and also there's, at least in my fundamentals book, it also came with like a practice question study guide. I had to buy that separately. I think it was like $30. And that pretty much gave me a clue of the chapter as a summary. And since it was like the same type of author, the one that wrote the textbook, and like the same textbook that I have, so I felt like a little bit more confident or a little bit more secure that those questions could at least help me in towards identifying what I'm missing or just consolidating everything. And it did help me a lot. In first semester, I really just was like a textbook person towards like the first month, I'll say 3 weeks, first month. But it was like a lot of chapters, especially like my first exam. No, my first two exams were like 5 or 6 chapters in one exam, and it was just like a week and a half of like just reading and learning it, and then getting the test, and then the following week have another exam of a different type of chapters. So it was like almost impossible for me to manage, and I was also taking pharm. So for me, I was like, no, like there has to be a simpler way, I guess. So YouTube videos definitely helped, practice questions definitely helped, and then Quizlet, I would primarily just write like the chapter of whatever thing I'm doing, like what I'm studying, and then I would just do questions there. Some of them were like definitions, and that didn't really help me. And then some of them were like practice questions with A, B, C, and D with the question and then the right answer. And the best ones were like the ones that came with the rationale, or for like why that's the right question and then why the other ones are not right. That's the thing that I will mainly do, because just like reading the chapters, like I said, for me it was very long, because I tend to be more of a listener, an audio person, a visual person. But not really like the textbook. Like I guess I can read it, but it's gonna take my own time, in the sense that I need to read it over and over, and then sometimes if I already read the chapter, I probably got like 30 or 40% of it, and I had to reread it eventually. So it's like a total waste of time when you actually try and do the math of like how long it's gonna take you to learn something. Whereas you can just watch a video or two, and in 20 minutes or 25 you're going to be really good at the subject, have a better idea. And if for some reason you want to go back to the video, you can just go back to that specific area where you kind of like doze off a little or you didn't understand it. So those really helped me. And then the last resource I had was a textbook. If for some reason like the YouTube videos were not working, if for some reason like those things, my first two options were not working, then I will use the textbook and try and look like for that specific type of concept, and then I will go from there. But most of the time it really helped just with the YouTube videos and then the practice questions. I never really thought the practice questions were going to be the same as the exam or anything like that. Like that was not my view, and you shouldn't have that view because you will be highly disappointed. But it's going to give you a really good idea of where you are and what you need to focus on. And for me, it was just like Since in the questions you have more of like application, critical thinking type, those questions really helped me into just getting like an overall idea of what the chapter was about. But everybody learns differently, right? Like I did mention in another video, like some people asked me like what was my study plan, and then I told them, and then for some people it did help them, and then for others it didn't. So for other people, textbook is like their main thing and they love it, and they then do questions and that's it, but they don't watch videos. So you really have to adapt yourself into whatever you feel comfortable. But with me, since I was also working like a part-time job, and then I had like a lot of things going on around me, it was like I want to do this in the most effective way and do the least amount of time. And that really helped me because overall I had like a better image towards everything. And then if for some reason the textbook didn't work, then I would go with my professor, or just like email them and just be like, hey, like I don't get it. And they would just explain it to me. So the professor would be like the last resort. And if you have like a professor that you really can't ask them, or you don't feel like comfortable asking them because whatever, if you have other classmates, then you should go with them. Or if you have like upperclassmen from upper semesters, you can ask them too. Or you guys have tutors, which more than likely you guys do. You guys can go with them, with those nurse tutors, and then ask them, you know, like, oh, I don't get this. So never feel threatened or never feel insecure about asking other people. Yeah, it's fine. You know, there's gonna be things that we won't get, even though we search and look and read, you know, but sometimes like the way other people explain it, you can be like, oh, okay, it's not that bad. So also use your peers and everybody in your network around you to get the answer. And that's pretty much it regarding that, and just trusting the process, in the sense that when you're doing questions or when you're watching videos, you might feel like you're not getting it, or you're not doing enough, or you maybe feel like guilty because you did little now because you went with videos, you went with questions, you feel you have a good concept with it, but since you didn't read a lot, you're like, oh, well, I think I could do more, you know. It's okay to feel like that, but just as long as you feel that you can do the questions, the practice questions, and you got them right, you know, you should just be fine with that and see how that works out. You can also use ATI, but low-key, I have mixed views about ATI because I don't feel it works. I feel like the results they showed are like really skewed, in the sense that they give themselves a lot of props, but it doesn't also say what other students use as resources. Like for instance, with NCLEX, they can show like, oh, it has a really good pass rate when we give you the green light and stuff like that. But it doesn't say if they're using other resources like UWorld or YouTube videos, and they're just using like ATI as like their third or fourth option. But I guess like as long as you're using it, you know, they get 100% of the credit, and it's like, oh, it works. So like with ATI, they have some questions, like a test bank questions there that you can do with fundamentals and stuff. But if you're like in a specific thing of fundamentals, like safety stuff or vital signs or assessment, I don't think you can categorize it. I think it's just like fundamentals and just do questions. So unless you're studying for the final, then I guess like ATI can be a really good resource, since you can like get more questions by going to the fundamentals and then just doing like the test bank questions there. But yeah, when it comes to NCLEX, I really wouldn't focus too much on ATI, because the main things, if you go to Reddit and then put like NCLEX prep or whatever, they're all going to tell you two things: Mark Lemec and UWorld, or vice versa. But never is ATI going to be in the options that students use and like. With my nursing program with IVC, you're pretty much forced to use ATI because they find it to be like the best program out there. And we're like paying like $1,200, or it was like $1,100, and it was for a year, but we had to pay it twice because it's like we're there for 2 years. So we bought it in first semester, and then we had to buy it again in third. And because like we would do like certain assessments, exams when it came to like pediatrics, mental health, OB and stuff like that, pharmacology, and supposedly like they tell you like if you're in the good bracket of passing the NCLEX in the first time when it came to that specific category. But no, honestly, I wouldn't trust it for NCLEX. But if you have to buy the ATA because you're forced, like we did, I will focus more towards, if it's like final exams like med surg, peds, whatever, then you can use like those questions also to feel more confident. And then you have like a little booklet that comes with it that you can also try and review with the ATI. I never found those helpful, but you know, I'm just laying you the options there to see if it's working out for you. And yeah, that's pretty much what I did towards my fourth semesters. So pretty much like, and sometimes I will like mix it between like YouTube videos and then questions, or I would first do questions and then YouTube videos and just go from there. Because you also have lecture days, right? So you can also ask questions in lectures. But with me, I felt like the lectures were pretty straightforward, and it was really nice when I was doing notes on my Notability. And sometimes I would do flashcards in the app Anki, but they low-key help in regards to memorization. If you need to learn concepts, I really wouldn't go for it. But if it's like values you need to learn, Anki is a really good resource. Notability, that's like my note-taking that I use here for the iPad. Really good. Instead of carrying like all those Bible textbooks and everything, I can just put everything on my iPad and just carry this. And then when it came to the NCLEX, UWorld was definitely a great thing, and it's like $300, so it's kind of like 1/4 of what ATI is. UWorld doesn't have videos to explain you concepts since you technically are reviewing, but with me, I didn't feel I was reviewing. I feel like I was learning a lot because they all come with rationales of why the other ones are not the right choice, so that's good. And I was just have it as a Bible, just do UWorld, and when in doubt, more UWorld, and then I will do Mark Clemec sometimes. But I didn't really like Mark Clemec because like its audios were like 1 hour or 1 hour to 2 hours long, and it was like a lot. So I would feel like bored sometimes just like hearing it. But whenever I was driving to work, which was like a 30-minute drive, I would listen to Mark Clemec sometimes, and then when I was sometimes in my break or when I was walking, I would like listen to Mark Clemec. So try and like get it on those times whenever you're doing dishes or washing your clothes or something, or doing dinner, whatever, you know, listen to the Mark Clemec with your headphones, with your earphones, whatever you have, so you at least feel like low-key productive and you're like doing active listening. You're actually paying attention to what he's saying, because the big thing about Mark Clemec is like he was one of the writers for the NCLEX a couple of years back. I think it was like 2005, 2006, something like that. So he knows the ways that they are gonna ask you questions and that like what's the angle they're gonna go for. So he is really good towards that. So at least he tells you like the formula, like okay, if they're gonna talk to you about safety, they're probably gonna go with these type of questions, or like these angle questions. If they're gonna talk about pharmacology, they mainly go with like insulin medications or like cardiac medications, and like these is the things that you need to know about these. So like he pretty much gives you like a really good base fundamental things of each of the things they're gonna test you on. And I think there's like 12 audios, and I think in one of the videos that I did in the past, like I share with you guys like the 12 Mark Clemec audios that they shared me, and I think I'm gonna do it on this one too, so you guys can see it down here. So it's really beneficial. And if you're also doing like a final towards pharmacology or med search, I really wouldn't focus on Mark Clemec at all, because you're not that's like for NCLEX. So if you're gonna study for your final, UWorld can be a really good thing, since you can separate the fundamentals with sections. So they have like the safety, falls, or like environmental, like airborne precautions, and like isolation. You know, they have it breaking down after the like you click fundamentals. Not like ATI that it's like fundamentals and that's it. And you can do up to 75 questions per exam. And I think like Funds has like 300 questions, and then MedSurg has like 600. So I think like only mental health has like 60 something, which was like pretty much my NCLEX exam. So that was a bummer. But you know, other than that, you can use UWorld if you guys want for your final, or just like to study if you can afford it, because it's like $300, but I think it's like for a year. So yeah, you guys can try that and see if it works. I never tried the UWorld because I learned about UWorld when I was like in 3rd or 4th, and that was already too late, and my ways of studying were working, so I was like, why change it? So yeah, that's pretty much all I did. So pretty much summary: NCLEX just UWorld and Mark Clemec. ATI no. But if you're gonna study for your regular exams and it's like a final for your course, then ATI can probably help you in at least like doing more questions and probably get like a missing question or a missing concept that you didn't get. YouTube videos were my prime, practice questions were my prime, and the last one was the textbook and talking to my professors or my peers. So other than that, I think that's all I used during nursing school. Also, study tools that I use sometimes were like studying with a partner. My group was never more than 2. Sometimes it was 1. But I mainly was like more of a solo player, but I know like there's a lot of people that like group sessions and stuff like that. So if you're gonna be in a group session, remember like someone has to be like the leader or the one taking charge, in the sense like, okay, now we have to study, now we can take a little break, and be consistent and disciplined about the studying and the breaks in order for it to be productive. Because if not, then you're just gonna be wasting time. Especially like in the first semesters where like everything is like really fast, and you have like little time studying, so you really don't want to be like there just wasting a lot of time. And also remember to breathe and taking your breaks and also having a life, because even though nursing school is stigmatized as like no life, it's really not like that. If you're really bad at time management, then obviously, yeah, it's gonna look like you don't have a life. But if you really try and track what you're doing every single day and how much hours you're taking and watching Instagram, YouTube shorts, YouTube videos, TikTok, Facebook, and just like all those things, like you could like set a timer or something, you would see like how much time you're literally wasting and you're not getting nothing out of it. My big thing was like sometimes doing like League of Legends, like on my video game, because I was trying to like be good at it. Not like go pro or anything, but just like be good at it. And then when I was getting better, I remember I told a friend, a really close friend, like, hey, like I'm getting way better, like I'm already gonna be in this division or whatever. And they're like, so what? It's like, how is that gonna change your current status? Like, is that gonna make you rich? Are you like streaming it? Are you? I'm like, no, it's just I'm just playing on my alone time, and it's just there. And it's like, what are you getting out of it? Just like being entertained, I guess. It's like, wow, well, like, why are you just wasting your time doing that? Like, so what? Like, who cares if you're the best if you're not like streaming it? You're not getting anything out of it, you're just getting like low-key pleasure. But it's like you have such stuff to do, and it's like, when I focus on actual things that can get you money or stuff like that. And I was like, dang. So when I saw like that view, I was like, well, now that you say it like that, I wasn't ever really like a series person, like watching Netflix or Hulu or whatever, because I felt like I was wasting too much time on video games, and I didn't want to like add a different thing. And my module was like, I don't lose anything in my life, or I don't gain anything in my life if I watch Friends, or if I watch like these shows. It's like, they really don't matter at the end of the day. But you have to try and have like a balance, so really try and work on that. And I know it's gonna be a hassle, and there's gonna be like, it's gonna be a lot of trial and error eventually, because nobody has like a specific formula that is like a one size fits all. So yeah, it's just like a process, and just it's part of the journey eventually, you know. Speaking of journey, I want to show you guys something. So I put in my frame my diploma of IBC, so this is how it looks. I got this like frame of Amazon. It was like 40 bucks, I think, or 60. I think it was 60. It looks nice. And then the one on the license that came in like with just like a regular sheet of paper that looks like low-key recycled. This is pretty much how you put the frame in it. So that looks kind of nice. I'm probably thinking of like putting this poster down and just putting those there, because they do mean something for me, because it took me a while to get there. So yeah, and then I'm probably gonna put like the ER certificate that I got in my graduation there too, up here. I'm just having like a small wall of fame on myself there. I just reminded myself sometimes what I'm doing and what I've done, and then what I want to do. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So if you guys found this video helpful, just drop a like and let me know like what you're doing, and we're just pretty much socialize a little there. If also you guys haven't followed me on Instagram, then please do so. I'm gonna do my video or like a small like story thing that you guys can ask me questions, so I can do like a video of that to celebrate the 200 plus subs that we have. I think right now we have like 221 or 22, something like that. So yeah, there was like a moment where I had like 243 out of nowhere, like out of like one day or the other, and I was like, wait, this is impossible, like there must be some type of like robotic glitch or something. And then yeah, like after 2 days, like it went down, and I was like, okay, yeah, I was like, this is way too big of a jump for me. It's like, no, there has to be like some type of mods or bots or whatever. So yeah, if you guys found this video useful, then drop a like and let me know, and also follow me on Instagram. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Feel free to message me on Instagram, reply to my stories, or just like when I talk with someone, and I'll be there. I'll probably not be there immediately because I'm probably gonna be working, or I'm doing like studying or whatever. So yeah, and I'm doing another website, kind of like the foreigners website that I have for the teas, but I'm gonna make it like way better in terms of quality. So I'm gonna be making more videos. I'm gonna be taking down the videos that I have because I want to explain them differently. I want to add way more stuff there, and I want the visual to look like way better, like the appearance, the performance, and everything. So the ones that I have is still going to be up there, and then once I'm finished with the other one, which I'm barely going to start, we're going to get to that. So that's going to be like my other project I'm going to be running into. So yeah, you guys still here until the end of this video. Thank you so much guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.